But he has something that no one else has, which is he is the biggest threat to profits of any of these other people. Not the defense secretary, not Matt Gaetz, an attorney general. The biggest threat to money, to people making money, is RFK Jr. And there is a lot of money at stake here. We're probably talking more than $1 trillion at stake, but we're probably talking about he's a serious threat to hundreds of billions of dollars. He's a threat to the entire biopharmaceutical industry. He's a threat to the public health complex. He's a threat to all the people making unproven devices. He's a threat to big agriculture, big food. He's a threat to environmental polluters. He's a threat to all these people. And they have been lobbying for years to get a foothold in Washington. They've been donating to all sorts of campaigns. I was surprised recently to see they've even donated to Elizabeth Warren. I guess so much for being a progressive that she's taking money from the pharmaceutical industry. I'm surprised to see that. They've donated all these people, and that money is going to talk. That money's going to buy influence, and they're going to work 100% to get this guy out, because he's the greatest threat. And instead, last time when Trump was there, who did he put forward? Alex Azar, a guy with extremely close ties and I think past executive experience in the pharmaceutical firm. Scott Gottlieb, the classic sellout at FDA, who went right to Pfizer and sat on the board. And then you can read Alex Berenson, what he has to say about what Scott Gottlieb did to try to pressure Alex Berenson for not talking about the vaccine mandates and things like that. So Trump, has previously picked pro-corporate people. RFK Jr. is not a pro-corporate person, so he is different. He's the biggest threat to money. And trust me, when money is there at stake, people will do anything to try to torpedo him. And you might remember Tom Daschle was torpedoed. He was torpedoed because he didn't pay a nanny over the table. Something that probably lots of people have done, to pay a nanny in cash, so that he didn't have to pay some tax on that or something. That was what torpedoed him. RFK Jr., there's a lot more than not paying some nanny in cash. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot more they're going to use to torpedo him. But we'll see if he makes it through. Trump has 53 senators. Trump has, he could push it through if he wanted. He could recess appoint him, and he could just go by party line vote, and he might get him through. Now, I think if Matt Gaetz makes it through, but RFK Jr. doesn't, that means that money talks. That the only explanation for that would be that the pharmaceutical industry prevented it from getting there. Okay, now let me argue the other side of the coin. So this is what I talk about in the piece. I think there are a number of reasons to think, well, maybe he does make it through. For those people out there who are rooting for him, maybe there are reasons he could make it through. One is, although he has many views and many controversial takes, he has some views that are very popular. He hates environmental pollutants. He hates what we're doing with food and the garbage we're feeding children. He thinks children should be fed better food. I think no matter what you feel about his policies, you have to admit, I think he has his heart in the right place when it comes to kids. He hates the corrupt role of pharma. He hates the revolving door politics. He hates the corruption in Washington. These are popular ideas, and he will have a huge chunk of the public on his side for those ideas. 2, unlike others, he is close to a traditional politician. He's played this game before. He knows how to navigate these circles. He might be able to get through. Number 3, although he's not a doctor, by the way, I see some people say, he's not a doctor, how can he be HHS secretary? These people don't know anything because most HHS secretaries are not doctors. They're usually useless politicians and useless bureaucrats who work for their own corporate interests. They don't do anything of substance in their term. He's different than that. He's an environmental lawyer and who's somebody who's probably going to try to shake things up and not just try to self-aggrandize and use it as a jumping stone, use it as a springboard to their own consulting career. So he's different than the typical sellout who takes this job. He's part of the Kennedy family, and Trump supposedly likes him a lot. They say Trump really, really likes Bobby, so he's a likable guy, and he has that sort of historic gravitas coming with him. He has strange across-the-aisle appeal. Jared Polis, the successful governor of Colorado, he endorsed him, and he said that, a big chunk of my constituency is pro-raw milk, which we're going to talk about, and a big chunk of his constituency was against the vaccine mandates for COVID-19, which I was, of course, against because only an idiot would have implemented a mandate that had no third-party benefit and run trials where you didn't even test if there was third-party benefit. Finally, in his favor, there's less of a shock factor. This has been coming for some time now. People have been talking that he might be nominated. The nomination is coming now. The more you put you put the media in the water slowly, the more you can get things done. If you just shocked him with RFK Jr. right off the bat, they would have been panicked. But they've seen Trump with RFK Jr., so they're kind of eased into it. I think that does count for something. But, you know, in the video I did with Z-Dog, I was skeptical. I think they're going to try to torpedo him. There's nobody who's a threat to more money than this guy. And a lot of that corporatism is in the Republican Party. I mean, a lot of those donations have gone to that party. So will they approve this guy? I don't know. He's also typically, you know, historically a Democrat. So that's another thing he's got against him. So we shall see.